It's a new kind of magic. Or perhaps a different old kind. I'm not sure, but I don't trust it. I need to make certain it won't hurt my friends," she said softly, keeping her eyes on the water as it trickled over the edge and through the dark gaps. "If it works, I can keep every pony safe forever." "You need test subjects," Goldenblood murmured softly in his watery, rusty voice. Rarity flinched, but then nodded. "Say no more. I'll get you situated. We'll call it—" He mused a moment as he stared at the rock before saying softly, "Project Eternity. After all, forever is a long time to keep some pony safe."
Thank you, Goldenblood," she said with a relieved smile. She started away, then hesitated. I think that you and Fluttershy make a wonderful, couple?" She grinned sheepishly at him, pawing at the water-covered stone. He smiled, but his eyes simply looked sad.
"Thank you, Rarity. I hope I prove worthy to her."
"Yes, quite. Well, she bobbed her head once more. "I look forward to hearing from you, Goldenblood." The viewer immediately rushed back to collecting pot shards as Goldenblood looked in her direction. The image dissolved. "This is an hour later," Zodiac said as a new picture took shape. It was a long memory, and nothing particularly interesting in the non-archaeologist happened in the intervening time. Well, this was an improvement over being stuck in a memory orb. "Come on, Everpony. Last ride out of this hole," some buck called. The viewer trotted to the elevator, and it started to rise out of the earth. It flashed by other subterranean workings as it lifted out before finally reaching the top. It looked like the foundation of a large concrete building. Ponies started filing out, trotting towards the exit and laughing about their day. All except for Goldenblood. He stood against the rail surrounding the elevator shaft as ponies left. His eyes stared right into mine. "A minute, Dewdrop." Yes, sir?"
My host said softly. "You heard a conversation with the Ministry Mayor." It wasn't a question. The silvery metal turned over and over beside him as he approached her. My viewer started to back away. "What did you think?"
It was, interesting?" The mayor stammered.
"Interesting. Indeed," he said softly as he kept approaching. Now I realized what so disturbed me about Goldenblood. More than the scars and the sickly cough and ragged breathing, on top of all that, he didn't seem to blink. "Do you know what the three most precious things in Equestria are, Dewdrop?" he asked, and she could feel the breeze blowing out the shaft on her flanks as he backed her right up to the metal rails surrounding the dark, bottomless-looking pit.
"Family, sir? Friends? Money?"
"Family is a dime a dozen," he said with a soft snort. "Friends are articles of convenience, and money is trash." He shook his head, and his horn glowed, and he whispered softly into her ear. "No. The three most precious things are loyalty, love, and secrets." Suddenly, the rails weren't there anymore, and she was falling back over the ledge, just barely grabbing on with her forelegs.
"Help! Somebody help me!"
she shrieked. The glowing metal bars that had twisted away behind her slowly returned to place.
"Please, I have a family."
"My condolences, but I'm afraid that some ponies just can't be trusted with secrets." And with that he stood there, and watched as her legs and then her hooves slid slowly over the edge. He didn't look away. He still didn't even blink. The world became tumbling darkness. I shuddered, closing my eyes and unable to watch any more. That was a long way to fall. The image flickered out.
"And that's the memory I experienced in the cave. When the memory ended, I was nearly dead and was fortunate to get back up the elevator before I was completely dissolved. The golden blood being a murderer thing. I was disappointed. I'd hoped that I'd be wrong about him, that once you get past all his secrets and lies, he was a good pony. But how could he have just killed some pony to keep a secret? Loyalty, love, and secrets. And a relationship with Fluttershy? How did that happen? I had more questions about what I'd started. It was supposed to go the other way around. Well, nothing to do but trying to get answers for them. So Rarity was experimenting on ponies. Rarity? I said, trying to wrap my head around that one. How does a pony go from dressmaking to that? The glowing pony nodded once more. What kind of experiments? And how she was planning on protecting her friends? I don't know. I know that she pursued it for several years, then abandoned it abruptly. After that, I only know it was based out of Hightower Jail. Here. My pipbuck chirped softly. You can investigate it yourself if you'd like. I checked my map and saw the blank square to the north. And there's nothing you can tell me of the other projects? She shook her head slowly. I'm afraid not. Chimera was Trueblood's baby. Starfall and Horizons were Trottenheimer's. And even I don't know who oversaw the rest. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you more. I gave a projection a tired smile. I wish I could help more, I said. She looked confused. Well, it's just, I'm nobody special. I'm just staggering through all this as best I can. The professor shook her head with a small smile. Nobody special. Blackjack, you emerged from your stable with one of the deadliest war machines in history after you and lived. Since then, you've destroyed that war machine, helped stabilize Flank, are virtually the patron saint of Chapel, brought together sand dogs and ponies in mutual protection, ended one of the greatest raider threats to the city, and during all of that, you were also unraveling a 2-century-old conspiracy involving one of the most secretive and powerful ponies in history. You've gotten to the point where your whim is a major consideration for all the powers in Hoofington, and you carry with you our single biggest hope for recapturing the greatest technology and arcane treasure troves in all of Equestria. If you are nobody, then you're the greatest nobody in the history of the world. I blinked, blushing hard as I rubbed the back of my head. Gosh, when you put it that way. I was still a nobody, but at least was nice to hear her regard me so highly. I looked at my pipbuck. I can't give you East 11 to 1, Professor, but if there's a way I can give you access to Steel Pony, I will. I looked at her stunned expression. It probably won't do me any good, but you might make some use of it. She stared at me, and then the glowing projection threw its arms around me. The light flickered and sparkled, dazzling my eye. Thank you so much. She drew back. Well, if you can get to the Flash Industries headquarters mainframe and use the 11 to lock it, I should be able to extract the Steel Pony activation files and schematics from there. Flash Industries? One of several cover companies we worked with while developing Steel Pony. I'd direct you to the Aegis security headquarters, but it took a direct hit from a balefire missile. There's naught left but a crater. My pipbuck chirped as a few new icons lit up. These are the OIA fronts I know of where you might find something useful. Boom Inc., OIA Progress Office, Horizon Laboratories, Hippocampic Research. I felt lightheaded. All the places in the northeast corner of the outer city. Places where I might find answers. A place where I might find Sanguine himself. I nearly trembled in anticipation. Thank you. This is wonderful. I don't know what to say. She flushed. Well, her cheeks were a little shinier than before. And if I can make one last request, I'd like an interview of all of you. I think it's something that we might find valuable someday. Ponies are going to want to know just who security is and who our friends were. I couldn't think that we would ever be valuable. In 6 months, I'd be gone, and in 7, probably forgotten, except maybe by Glory and my friends. Well, I'll tell them when I see them in the morning, but don't hold your breath. The projection arched her brow, and I coughed into my hoof. You know what I mean. What do I want? Gosh, that's an easy one. Give me a box of sugar apple bombs and a bottle of wild Pegasus, and I'm good. Look, I'm not a complicated pony. Really. I'm not smart enough to be a complicated pony. I want folks happy and safe, and that's it. If my actions make some ponies able to live their lives, then I'm good. Of course, that means sometimes I have to take lives as well. I never like doing that. I know some ponies feel a rush when they kill, but it's just something I have to do. And sometimes I'm really good at it. I wish it was as hard for me as it used to be, but I guess that's growing up, huh? So if I do kill, I try and kill the ponies who cause harm. I do my best to make sure that no pony gets hurt who isn't causing harm. But what I'd really like is a place to live with Glory, a kid of my own, and someplace safe with a weekly poker night with my friends. I'm pretty sure that's all I need. If I get that, I'm pretty sure giving whatever I have to every pony else who needs it isn't that much of a problem. Oh, I suppose I should also throw not dying in there too? Crap, can I do this again? I waited at the north gate, calmly checking my shotgun, rifle, and 12mm ammunition. Fresh healing potions from triage for the next few days, food and purified water. The thunderstorm was soaking everything, transforming the quad into a muddy lake. Glory trot out of the mist, her beam rifle shifting to the side to compensate for her missing wing. She smiled broadly at me in her equestrian air guard barding. Leo didn't want his gun back? I asked with a smile of my own. He did, but I beat him, she said with a chuckle. You fought him? I asked in shock. Glory fighting for a gun? She brushed her purple mane out of her eyes. No, I guilt-tripped him about almost killing you and when you were going to do so much for the professor, so we dropped it. I smiled at her. I love you. She flushed in delight. Scotch tape came out struggling out into the fog. Don't go. I'm coming with you. My smile strained. You're sure? I'd done all I could to convince her to stay here with Virgo or return to the Crusaders. She'd remained adamant. Rampage had been right. Of course. We stable 99 ponies have to stick together, Scotch said brightly. She wore her brown work goggles and 99 utility barding. I sighted the sight of her with the 9mm automatic pistol. She'd have to go through her first kill all over again. Hopefully it wouldn't be for a while. Yeah, we've got to stick together, P-21 said from my side. I jumped. Okay. I would have jumped clear over Glory if my legs were working right. My blue friend gave me a small smile and shrug. I've stuck with you this long. I can manage a few more months. Chap was not going anywhere. His eyes flashed down to Scotch, and for a moment I thought he was going to say something. Then he looked away, just flushed, and the filly dropped her eyes with a sigh. The goddess shall not be excluded, Lacuna pronounced as she trot forth with her black dress. No gun, but we'd find some way to remedy that. In the meantime, she had her magic. Her purple eyes stared down at me coldly, but then shifted and softened as she smiled. The goddess is quite curious about what you will find in the future. So she's not going to make me find Chimera for her? I asked, arching a brow curiously. No. The goddess anticipates that she may task another to that end. Hopefully, that one will be less stubborn. I looked out at the mist-shrouded quad and the hazy outlines of the buildings. I expected Rampage to emerge at any second. Any second. Any second. Where's Rampage? Scotch Tape guessed, with a worried frown. I guess she's not coming? And I suppose that'd be for the best. Damn it. It still felt wrong, though. We filed through the gate, past the guards and the beam turrets. Hopefully I'd make a big enough dent in the ghoul population that we wouldn't need to fight for a while. I took point. Glory watched left, P-21 the right, Scotch Tape in the middle. Lacuna dropped at her dress and took to the air. Really, why had she bothered putting it on at all? The entire collegiate had seen her wings while the goddess was controlling her. I turned back, looking at the gray box buildings through the haze of the rain. For a moment, I thought I saw a white pony with a flash of red atop one building. Then the rain stung my eye and blinked, and she was gone. Footnote. 50% to level.